presentations coming up. Please turn your cameras off. It makes it easier for us to see. Turn your cameras off and turn them back on when your turn comes up. So, welcome to the February meeting of the Tecumseh Committee of Adjustment. I got a big thing splashed over my thing here.
Did we lose the chair?
I think he hit the wrong button.
I think that's what happened. Let's give him a minute to get back into the meeting.
Okay. Hey, Chad.
Hello. And Paul's with us now too.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Hi, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
Does anyone see Tom trying to log in?
I'm monitoring, waiting for him to return, but I have not seen him.
Should we call
He's just connecting now.
He's working on it.
him?
When the meeting starts. I gotta turn my camera on. There we go. All right, so we're good. Everybody's here. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest?
No.
Seeing none. Minutes of the January meeting of the Committee of Adjustment were pre-circulated. Motion. Tom and Daniel, any addition, deletion, correction? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, carried, thank you. So the first application this evening we're going to hear is application for consent on Holden Road. Donna?
Application for consent BO 122, Raphael and Gina Mayo, 6780 Holden Road. The purpose of the application is to request consent to sever a surplus dwelling lot having a frontage of 66 meters, 216.5 feet, a depth of 82.8 meters, 271.7 feet, and a lot area of 0.55 hectares, 1.35 acres, outlined in red on the attached sketch. The proposed severed lot contains a house, 4 accessory buildings, and a steel bin that is proposed to be demolished. The retained farm parcel outlined in green on the attached sketch has an approximate lot area of 20.13 hectares, 49.7 acres. A zoning bylaw amendment will be required to prohibit a residential dwelling on the retained lands and to address the oversized surplus dwelling lot. The lands are designated agricultural in the Tecumseh official plan and zoned agricultural in the zoning bylaw 85-18. Engineering's comments are the owner enter into a reapportionment agreement for the drainage assessment for the subject lands in accordance with the Drainage Act as amended, and the associated costs of same be borne solely by the applicant. That the owner be advised that prior to the severance being finalized, a new access culvert and driveway are required across the open municipal drain branch of the South Talbot and Holden outlet drain to the parcel to be retained in accordance with the Ontario Drainage Act as amended. The owner will be required to submit a request for improvement to the town for the new access culvert, and the costs related to the new access and driveway are the responsibility of the applicant. It is unlikely that the engineer's drainage report and the installation of the culvert will be completed by the time the conditions are to be satisfied. As a result, the owner will have to enter into a consent agreement with the town and have it registered on title. This is to ensure that the parcel to be retained is not sold after the severance prior to the installation of the access culvert through the Drainage Act process, and that any potential new owners would be made aware of the ongoing drainage engineer's report and associated costs of same. The owner is to determine if there's any existing tile drainage systems through the parcel to be severed to the branch of the South Talbot and Holden outlet drain, and an existing farm tiles are found, that the owner redirect them around the parcel to be severed. The owner to submit an engineered drainage and grading plan showing how stormwater is to be controlled to the satisfaction of the chief building official prior to the severance being finalized. This is to ensure that stormwater from the parcel to be severed will not rely on the parcel to be retained for its stormwater drainage. No comments from building, no comments from fire. And IRCA notes that the lands are subject to their development, interface in wetlands, and alterations to shorelines and water courses regulations under the Conservation Authorities Act. IRCA has no objection to the application for consent, but if any construction or alteration to the site is affected by Section 28 of the Conservation Authorities Act, and a permit will be required.
Okay, thank you very much. Ralph, are you with us? You can turn your camera on.
Can you hear me now?
He's there. Yep, we can hear you. Do you have a camera?
I do. You cannot see me?
Not yet.
All right. Well, my remarks are going to be very brief,
Okay.
and hopefully you can hear them. I just want to say that I read the report, and I am in agreement with all of the conditions. And I'm just here to answer any question the committee has. And I would
Okay.
ask the committee to please approve it.
All right.
Thank you.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you, Ralph. Committee members have comments or questions on this one? Seeing none. The only thing in terms of when we go to make the recommendation, the recommended conditions, I just wanted to check, Donna, you talk about in number 10, which is on page 6 of the engineering report, or the administrative report, says the conditions filled on or before March 4th, 2023. Is it still just a year?
It is a year, but with respect to a consent, it's a year from giving of notice. So notice is not sent until Friday because of the electronic signatures, and by the time I get them back, it's actually mailed on Friday. So it's 1 year from Friday's date.
Yeah, for some reason I had in my head that that time period's going to be extended, Chad?
Yeah, yes, Mr. Chair, it is. I'm not sure proclamation has happened yet with respect to that too. It's something we could confirm, and amend the conditions accordingly.
Yeah, because some of the, the being worried about things not being done before
Yeah.
the end of the time is based on that. Laura, you had your hand up. You got a.
Thank you,
input?
Mr. Chair. Yes, I'm pretty sure the the regulation has taken effect, and 2 years from the date of notice is, or should be rather, the end date for lifting of conditions of any severance. Chad, you might want to triple check, but I'm pretty sure we've already implemented it in Essex.
Yeah, so we can we'll pass the conditions the way they are, but we'll ask you to check to make sure that 2024 would be a better date for there. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Tony?
Through you, Mr. Chair. I guess my question is on the recommended conditions. We usually have one of the recommended conditions as the septic system being verified that it's wholly contained within the severed parcel, and I'm not seeing that one on the list of conditions. I'm just curious as if it should be added on this or if it's already been verified as to the location.
Okay, Chad, can you help us with that?
Yeah, and Mr. Chair, I think that's a good condition to add. It wasn't received as a comment through the administrative circulation, but yeah, it certainly should be made a condition. I would agree with that.
Okay, conditions as amended then. Anybody else? So anybody prepared to make a motion? Lori?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for application B01-22 for 6780 Holden. I believe the proposed severance is in keeping with the PPS zoning bylaw official plan and is in keeping with good planning. Therefore, I move to approve the severance with the proposed conditions in the planning report, as well as the additional condition that the septic system is confirmed to be in the retained severed parcel. Thank you. In the severed parcel.
Okay. Seconder. Tony? All in favor?
I'd like to add some comments. There was a gentleman that just arrived at town hall with respect to this severance. He was unaware that the severance was being heard electronically. He thought it was a public meeting. So one of my colleagues here has written down the gentleman's question. Do you want me to read it out, Chad? His inquiry?
I'll
We
defer
have
to the
a
chair.
motion on the floor and it's been seconded. So if the committee would be willing to let this be heard? All of you who are willing to let this be heard, hands up. Okay, go ahead.
So his questions were, will the 20.13 hectare remain agricultural land? The second question is the farmland listed under 2 deeds with the land registry? And is there a 5-year rule before severance can be applied for? So those were his questions. He is Vincent, I'm going to spell his last name, Gyori, 6732 Holden Road.
Mr. Giori, yeah. Well, the answer to the first one is yes, I think. As far as, because it's going to be rezoned to be agricultural only, without being able to build on it. That's one of the conditions. The second one was what? Donna?
Is the farm listed under 2 deeds with the land registry?
I have no idea. And I don't know that anybody here would know that. Ralph, do you know that?
No, I do not.
Okay. And the third one? I'm sorry, Paul?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the land would have to be registered on 2 different deeds, because if they're not, they're going to merge back together.
Chad?
Mr. Chair, if the, first, I should say, Mr. Jobman's correct. If that's the nature of the question, is if the proposed surplus dwelling lot and the retained farm parcel are going to be under 2 separate names, and that will be necessary. Yeah. Yeah, so they avoid merging again. But I'm not sure if that's the nature of the question. That's all. It's a kind of a vague question. And then the final question, Mr. Chair, there is no 5-year requirement.
No, I knew that. So the question is, will there be 2 deeds for the property? Yes. And we don't know who the second deed is for. So. All right. If you can relay that, Donna, to the questioner, Mr. Giori.
Yeah, he left his contact information, so I'll follow up with him tomorrow.
At some point, yeah, okay. So we have a motion on the floor, all in favor of the motion? And opposed is nobody, so it's unanimous, thank you. So Ralph, there you go.
Thank you.
All right. The second application this evening is for property in on Roscommon, or for Roscommon Industrial. Mr. McCulloch, are you here? There you are.
Yes, I am here, Mr. Chair.
I see you. Good. Thank you very much. Go ahead, Donna.
Application for minor variance A0622 1808250 Ontario Limited, 5515 Roscommon Industrial Drive. The purpose of the application is to request relief from the following subsections of zoning bylaw 85-18. Subsection 14.1.9C, which establishes a minimum side yard of 6 meters, 19.68 feet, and subsection 14.1.5, which establishes a maximum lot coverage of 40%. The proposed relief will facilitate the construction of an industrial addition having a northern side yard width of 3.49 meters, 11.44 feet, and resulting in 44.04% lot coverage in accordance with the attached site plan. The property is designated business park in the town of Tecumseh official plan and zoned industrial in the zoning bylaw 85-18. No concerns with the issuance of the minor variance. Conditional on the owner being required to submit site service drawings and a detailed stormwater management report addressing quantity and quality to the satisfaction of the town engineer. A previous stormwater management report was completed and approved by the town for the subject property in 2017. However, it did not account for the current proposed level of development, and there are still features, i.e. the stormwater quality unit, that have yet to be installed. The town of Tecumseh has recently completed a stormwater master plan for the Old Castle Hamlet, which includes the subject property. The stormwater master plan includes a holistic capacity review of the current storm sewer system and drains in this area with consideration of both current and future development. It is anticipated that the work completed may assist with the stormwater management assessment for this property. No comments from building, no comments from fire, and IRCA indicates that with the background information and aerial photograph, IRCA advises that a stormwater management plan be completed to the satisfaction of the town. And if there's any other questions, we can contact IRCA.
Mr. Chair, do you want me to speak to the application?
Yeah, if you have anything you want to add, Mr. McCullough?
No, I'm the agent for FCF Manufacturing, who is the proponent in this case, and we are in agreement with the recommendations of administration, as well as IRCA, which mirrors that recommendation for the stormwater management. We've been in touch with the town engineer already, and they're satisfied that our engineering firm, LAO Engineering, can produce a proper stormwater management, and we're looking to proceed very quickly with the addition. So I'm available for any questions you might have.
You're on mute, Mr. Chair.
What'd you say? I'm sorry. I got to keep remembering to push the space bar. Laurie, what did you say? You move it?
That you were on mute.
Oh, no, I'm not on mute. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody want to make a motion on the application? Tony. You're on mute, Tony.
There should be an automatic function. I'll make a motion that we accept minor variance application A0622. It's industrial in nature. The surrounding properties are industrial. 20-foot setback in most cases is pretty typical of most industrial areas, with the 4% being minor in nature. And I believe this meets the 4 test. So for that reason, I will make a motion that we approve this minor variance.
Okay, support?
With a friendly
Laura?
amendment, Mr. Chair,
Okay,
to add the proposed conditions, the condition that the owner submit site servicing drawings and detailed swim report to the satisfaction of the town engineer as identified in the planning report, please.
right. Okay. Okay, Tony?
Yes.
Okay, is there a seconder? Laurie? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Carried? Unanimous again? Thank you very much, Dan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, members.
Okay. So the next is the application for minor variance for the Hallowells on Riverside Drive. Whenever you're ready, Donna.
Application for minor variance A0722, David and Tricia Hallowell, 13554 Riverside Drive East. The purpose of the application is to request relief from the following subsections of zoning bylaw 2065. Subsection 6.1.3 EII, which establishes that no part of any new dwelling or any addition to an existing dwelling shall extend beyond the established building line. In subsection 6.1.3 EII, which establishes an interior side yard width of 3 meters 10 feet. The applicant is requesting relief to facilitate the construction of a new residential dwelling, 402 square meters, 1,319 square feet, of which would extend a maximum distance of 12.27 meters, 40.26 feet beyond the established building line. See area highlighted in pink on the attached sketch. It should be noted that 131.1 square meters, 430 square foot portion of the existing dwelling which will be demolished, currently extends 5.1 meters, 16.86 feet beyond the established building line. The applicant is also seeking relief to permit a 1.8 meter, 6-foot westerly side yard width for a portion of the proposed dwelling in accordance with the sketch attached. The property is designated residential in the Tecumseh official plan and zoned residential type 1 in the zoning bylaw 2065. Correspondence received are as followed. Engineering. The owner is to submit an engineered drainage and grading plan showing how stormwater is to be controlled to the satisfaction of the chief building official. This is to ensure that stormwater from the proposed works will not impact the adjacent properties. No comments from building, no comments from fire service, and IRCA's comments are summarized in correspondence received today. With a review of background information and aerial photograph, IRCA has no objection to this application for minor variance. The applicant has obtained permit number 333-21 from IRCA for the proposed residence and garage structures. If any changes to the development is proposed, the applicant will require to circulate IRCA the revised plans. In addition, we've received confirmation in writing from the resident at 13519 Riverside Drive and 13538 Riverside Drive that they are in support of the application.
Okay, thank you, Donna. Mr. Hallowell, do you have anything you'd like to add for the committee's benefit?
No, I guess just a couple of things to note is we are basically trying to do what we currently have and just make it upgrade it with new buildings. So it's essentially sitting in the same location. I think there's a couple of feet at the back of house that we would be adding, and then mostly just a covered porch. And then with respect to the garage, I think we currently have 5 feet, and so which is basically dead space right now. So why we're looking for the reduction from the 10 feet, because it will continue to be sort of space that's not used.
Okay. Committee questions? Tom.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, to the applicant. So are you demolishing the house completely?
Yeah, that's the plan. We had looked at doing just a renovation of the existing house to raise it to meet the standards of today in terms of flood protection and whatnot. But it turned out that after going through that process that it seems as though it's not cost effective to do so. So the plan would be to demolish what's there and rebuild essentially in the same location.
And the garage as well?
Yeah, our plan is to demo the garage first, and then after that do the house.
And the addition or the encroachment to the lake, is there going to be a porch or something there? You don't have any elevations?
Yeah, I think we have something there. There is going to be a porch there. That the idea is it's a covered porch off the back. Is essentially that where that is a covered porch.
And no objections from the neighbors?
No, I mean, we've spoken to our neighbors immediately to the east, and we kind of went through it with her, and my wife sat down and talked through it. She didn't have any objections once realizing that it's going to be it's just covered, it's not enclosed at that part of her the house, so it won't really impede her view that way. And I've had conversations with our neighbor to the west who's provided his support, so no objections from either neighbor.
So where the concrete deck is now, is that just going to be extended slightly and then be an at-grade deck?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be at grade to the, like right now it's on the ground. So it would be at grade with the, like the floor of the house.
Okay. And the elevation of the house is going to be probably higher?
It will be like, it'll be a few feet up for sure, just to be like as per ERCO requirements. But we're trying to, like, one of the things that that we like about the property is just all the existing mature trees. So we're trying to like not do too much to raise like the elevation of the entire property, because we want to keep the trees. And in speaking with any of the landscape guys, apparently like inches can have significant impacts on like the likelihood that they'll remain. So the plan is to have the house be where it needs to be per ERCA, but try and keep the rest of the yard at grade so that we can maintain all the existing trees.
And then I see your neighbor to the west has a retaining wall for drainage because he's quite a bit higher than you. Is it the intent to kind of carry that theme to the west side?
I think we have, I think the idea is that we can utilize the fact that he's got his retaining wall, because his property is significantly higher than ours at the moment, but we're not planning on having to do that on the east side. We kind of want to maintain what we have in terms of like it's an open, no fences or anything. It's kind of an open area at the back. And our neighbor is going through the process of having her break wall done at the back. We have a break wall right now. The only thing, issue if we have one is that her break wall is like a cement break wall. It's 50 years old and it just is in need of an upgrade, but she's planning on doing that this year. So after we've done that, we've got plans to keep our own drainage within the yard through swale and like whatever you call like big O or whatever, to get things so that there's no, we're keeping our own water on our own property.
Okay, then finally, with regards to the back portion, the deck and the enclosure, and I'm not sure what it's going to look like. I imagine you have a covered porch there. Would there be, there's no intent to close it in?
Not on the east side where it's closest to our easterly neighbor. On the west side, we have planned to put like just a screen in area on the far west side of the corner of the covered porch.
Okay, so the reason I asked is that I guess typically in these cases, there's always a concern that somebody's going to later on decide to put some roll down screens and obscure the view. I don't see it as much of a problem here for your neighbor to the east, because there's a big tree to the west which kind of cuts off her view now, or their view now. So but I guess in keeping with the theme, I guess part of the condition that I would like to see would be that there wouldn't be any enclosure, or perhaps if there was going to be an enclosure, maybe at that point some detailed drawings, elevations, something that provides that captures what the views are going to be.
There was elevations submitted.
There was elevations?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see them.
Mr. Chair, I can share those elevations.
Yeah, I can confirm that there's no intent to ever enclose the east side, because of the way that, like, even for us looking out, like that's our view. And but on the west side is where we were thinking that it would be just from like the westerly portion, just to get some relief from like mosquitoes and whatnot and spiders in the spring and summer, but nothing. And that side of the
One more
property
page.
is almost, it really doesn't block anyone's view because there's trees and everything on that side as well.
Yeah, there's one more sheet of elevations. Check.
You said there's more elevations?
Yeah, there's going to be a east view and a west view.
Just bear with me.
There we go.
Everyone see that?
So you can see the open porch there at the far right end. Yep, that's the east elevation.
Okay, so there's no intent to ever put screens there.
No,
On the
No.
west,
on the west.
yes, on the west,
So,
not
so
the,
the bottom left of the west. Yeah. That's the west, looking east.
Sorry, looking west would be the top.
Yes, looking west, but that's the east elevation.
That's right.
Yeah, that's the closest to the easterly neighbor.
but looking from the west to the east is where we're gonna put the screened in porch. And there is a tree already that blooms, so like when you would be looking that way anyways, it's already, you can't see anything already. I don't know if
The
that
west-
makes a
The
difference,
western,
but
the western neighbor cannot see, it will not see the screen porch, because
Yes,
there's already trees existing there.
so as I say, looking from the east to the west, that neighbor's view is really cut off because of that big tree on the western side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
from looking on a south elevation, where would the screen porch be?
Yeah, you have to go back to the previous drawing there. Okay. Yeah, so right there, where the cursor is, right there. That would be the screened in porch. Yeah, in front of the spider and in the open area, that would be the screened in porch according to the site plan.
And it doesn't go past the front bay window there?
No.
No.
Just on the furthest west window, and then to that the last
Open
pillar.
area. Yeah, where they put the cursor is. Is that Chad? Who's operating that, Chad?
Yes.
Yeah, and then where the spider is, just go a little bit more to the left. Yeah, there.
Yeah.
So in front of that window, those the three
That whole
pillars.
area, correct.
Okay,
What you're circling is correct.
Okay, Thomas?
okay, that's it
Any
for
other
me.
questions?
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else got questions? Tony?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I guess there is a comment here for the grading plan to be submitted to the satisfaction of the CBO. I'm just wondering if that should be changed to one of the recommendation to the conditions. And the reason for that is I'm kind of leery in the point that the retaining wall was there when the adjacent home was built. That was the elevation that IRCA set. That being said, that might be pretty close to the elevation that will be set for this home as part of the reconstruction. So that being said, the 10-foot side yard, the interior 10-foot side yard there with a difference of about 18 inches to 2 feet may be too significant for something as simple as a swale, and a retaining wall may be required, just like is currently on the west side.
But if there's underground drainage, wouldn't that take care of any type of water accumulation? It's all gonna be sent to the lake anyways.
I think the problem is it has to be with underground drainage, it has to be held over the drain until it can seep down to it. And
Yeah,
it's
they're
the
quite
surface
higher,
water,
though,
the water running off of the surface is the problem.
You can put surface yard drainage, collect the water on the surface. And any type of drainage going towards the lake is just gonna be a natural flow right through the break wall. I mean, that's,
Again, my question is, should it just be made a condition as part of it, or just can we leave it as a comment?
it's up to you. I mean, I think it just makes sense to make it, like, to do this construction properly.
Chad?
Mr. Chair, I would recommend, given that the engineering department is requesting that be made a condition of the variance.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay. Anybody, any other questions? Motion, oh, Lori?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A question to administration. Although the applicant has indicated that the neighbors to the east and west are not in objection, we don't have anyone in the room, nor do we have any letters to confirm that. Is that correct? To either Chad or Donna?
There's emails from the west. I don't think, and to the east.
Oh, I have a text from the east.
Yeah.
As a part of the public record, Donna, I don't know if we were circulated that email, were we?
No, they may have come in very late this afternoon, so you may have not gotten that information, but I did read out that information as part of the correspondence that was received. The resident at 13519 Riverside, which is across the street, and the resident at 13538 Riverside, which is the resident to the west. Both of those have submitted that they have no concerns with the proposal.
Okay, good to know. Furthermore, Mr. Chair, just as a comment, I have no concerns on the minor variance for the side yard. And good to hear all around discussion on the minor variance for encroachment into the established building line. Just to confirm, and although I do see it in the administration report, the reason for not being able to work within the limits of the existing zoning bylaw where that established building line is it because to construct towards Riverside Drive is not an option? And I guess this question is to you, the applicant, to Mr. Hallowell.
Yeah. I can answer that. We've all agreed that by pushing everything forward towards Riverside Drive, there's a lot of mature trees. And to lift the land up between the trees, like Dave mentioned before, that would basically kill all the trees.
To lift the land up?
Yeah, because we're going towards Riverside and the land is back to, the existing 578, et cetera, where we would have to be at 580. And that would add a couple of feet around all the mature trees. And then more mature trees would be killed because the garage and the house would be moved, and those trees would have to be removed to be able to build the house. So we're actually like mowing down all the trees at the front yard, most of them.
Okay.
And then the east and west neighbors, of course, are not objecting. So by leaving it where it is, it's close to the existing house location, and it was already in.
Sorry, excuse me, close to the existing building, if I'm not mistaken, according to your application, is 17 feet into the existing, established building line, and now you're proposing 40.
With the porch, but the actual two-story building is probably just a few feet ahead of the old two-story facade.
Understood. The actual structure, however, is being encroached, or rather proposed to be encroached 40 feet in. So not close to.
Yeah, that's the application. Yeah.
Correct. Okay.
Okay,
I'm satisfied with the responses surrounding the reasons for this proposal in terms of the actual minor variance being proposed. I'm really happy to hear that the neighbors are not in objection. I think that is something that really warrants I guess, some weight behind whether we as a committee should be approving this or not. So that's it for me, Mr. Chair. I would be prepared to make a motion when ready.
Does anybody else have questions or comments? Seeing none, go ahead, Laura.
Okay, thank you. For application A07-22 for 13554 Riverside Drive. For both proposed minor variances, I believe that the intent of the zoning bylaw, the official plan, have been met, and that the variances are or can be considered minor in nature. I do move to approve both minor variances for this property with the condition, what was it? The condition that
Engineered drainage and grading plan.
lot grading plans, thank you, be added.
Seconder? Thomas? Okay, any final comments or questions? On the motion, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Unanimous again?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your patience, Dave.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Bye now.
Okay, Donna, when you're ready.
Application for minor variance A0822, Andrew J. Smith, 13763 Riverside Drive East. The purpose of the application is to request relief from the following subsections of zoning bylaw 2065. Subsection 5.191DI, which establishes that accessory buildings in residential zones shall not exceed 10% of the total lot area or 90 square meters, 969 square feet in area, whichever is the lesser, and no individual accessory building or structure shall exceed 70 square meters, 753 square feet in area, and subsection 5.191 EI, which establishes that accessory buildings in residential zones shall not exceed 4.5 meters, 15 feet in height. The applicant initially requested relief to construct a 103.22 square meter, 1,111 square foot accessory pool house, 32.1 square meters, 346 square feet of which is an open roof patio area having a height of 5 meters, 16.27 feet. Under the initial proposal, the pool house would have resulted in a total building area for all accessory structures with the existing detached garage and proposed pool house of 173.1 square meters, 1,863 square feet in accordance with the sketch attached. Following the submission of the application and circulation of the notice to abutting property owners, discussions took place between the applicant and the owners of the abutting property to the east, 105 and 109 St. Mark's Road. As a result of those discussions, the proposed location of the accessory pool house was revised to 115.85 square meters, 1,247 square feet, accessory pool house, 33.4 square meters, 360 square feet, of which is open roof patio area having a height of 5 meters, 16.27 feet, and its location was changed to the west side of the lot behind the existing garage in accordance with the revised sketch. The total building area for all accessory structures is 185.7 square meters, 1,999 square feet. According to the comments in the report, they're based on the revised proposal. The committee should be satisfied that the circulation of the notice is warranted given the new proposed size and location of the pool house. The subject property is designated residential in the Tecumseh official plan and zoned residential type 2 in the zoning bylaw 2065. The correspondence received are as follows. from engineering. The owner is to submit an engineered drainage and grading plan showing how stormwater is being controlled to the satisfaction of the chief building official. This is to ensure stormwater from the proposed works will not impact the adjacent properties. No comment from building, no comments from fire services. IRCA's comments are as follows. Upon review of the application and available background information, we note that the low-lying nature of the roadway may result in excess water over the road during a 100-year flood event. The municipality must confirm through application emergency services that they have the ability to safely access the area during a 100-year flood event in order to fulfill the municipality's responsibilities under section 3.1.7 of the provincial policy statement. Additionally, the applicant must obtain a section 28 permit from IRCA prior to developing any structures on the site. Public comments received in writing from residents to the east at 105 and 109 St. Mark's Road. They both expressed concerns with respect to the location, height, and size of the potential use and the potential use of the structure.
Okay. So I think that the committee is aware that this is a revised plot plan that was given us that indicates the repositioning of this structure. And I've looked at whether it would require a reposting or recirculation, and I've satisfied myself that given the nature of the change and the correspondence from the people that are near it and involved, that they're the only ones that are affected by the change. And I think, in a positive way, but we'll hear from them in a little bit. So I'm looking for Mr. Smith. Is he around? There he is. Okay, do you have anything you want to add to the?
No, I wouldn't. If you have any questions, please let me know.
I think there'll be some come up.
Sure.
There was also Mr. Lehman. Did he disappear? He was on here.
I'm here.
Okay, and there's also a Diana Bylaw.
We're here, yeah, under our daughter's name.
Oh, you're here. Okay. And there's, I'm sorry, Kathy Heath was the other one I was looking for.
She's.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, you have a camera?
I do.
There, now I can watch your reaction to everything. Okay, thank you. So I'll ask the committee what they want. Do you want to hear from the neighbors first and then ask questions? All right, I think the Bylaws probably should go first because they've done most of the legwork on this.
Yes, at first we were a little surprised about Andrew building another building on his property, and it was going to be directly behind us, which was going to ruin our views and the aesthetics of our backyard and depreciate our property value. But we did meet with him, and he did agree to move it to the west side of the property, which won't be hopefully an eyesore at all. But, you know, initially we just thought the one structure he had was enough, the one additional structure, but we are happy that we met with him and he's moving it to the other side.
Okay, so your objection is minor, if not removed.
We don't have an objection.
Okay. And Mr. Lehman?
I do not have any objections to the new location.
Okay. And we did get email this afternoon from the party that's on, that has, the on the side that the building is going to now, Donna? If I try to find it on my computer, I'm liable to hang up again, so I'm not going to. If you have that, can you just?
Mr. Chair, it's from Edgewater, and I can share the.
Yeah, okay. Can you share what they said?
Yes.
Chad?
I can share the location of the property.
Right.
Mr. Chair, in terms of the email, I'm hopeful that Donna has that email handy.
Okay, well, you got that up
I
there. Can
do.
you point to where the building is going to be? If it's approved? Right. Okay.
So basically, it's a letter to the Brifka family indicating that the Smith family is in the process of completing their backyard and that they applied for a minor variance for a pool house. The maximum square footage for an outdoor structure is 753 square feet, including all covered overhangs and porches. He further indicates that they're applying for 887 square feet for the main structure and 360 square feet for a covered overhang porch. In addition, they were allowed 15 feet to the midpoint of the peak of the roof, and they were requesting 16. He attached the plans for the pool house and the lot plan, so you can see what the builder was intending. Your property may not be in the line of sight, but the town has requested that we show our plans to you and produce a letter that states that you're not objecting to the design or square footage, etc. If you have any questions or concerns, I would be glad to discuss them with you. If you have no issues with the design and support the design, please sign here below above your name, and I will forward to the town of Tecumseh for their approval, and I appreciate your cooperation. And it's got the signatures of Joseph Brifka, and it looks like there's a couple other signatures as well from various individuals that reside at that residence.
Okay. So that's fills out the correspondence we've had on this, and it seems like the new position is satisfactory to the neighbors. So now, committee, you have questions. Tom?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to the applicant. Again, drainage is going to be a concern here because I do see that the backyard is low. When your property was constructed, there was a retaining wall built on the west side. Is that wall going to be, or both walls going to be extended as part of this construction to take care of the water issue or potential water issues?
So we had, obviously it indicated, Donna had indicated about IRCA. So IRCA was the one that had set the grade for us when we had constructed the home originally, including the detached structure. As you probably are aware that if you put up a structure, you're going to have to continue that wall. So we will either have to continue it according to IRCA's standard, whether it be a poured concrete wall or, building block or, stone or boulders, which is what was required the first time when we had built. So once they go back to me, they're gonna tell me what I can and can't do. And I can almost guarantee, based upon what I dealt with the first time, that they're going to maintain that I have to put a retaining wall or continue my retaining wall on that side. And that would be the requirement from IRCA anyway. So I have no issue doing it because they're going to tell me to do it regardless.
Okay.
And secondly, this this structure, does it have living accommodations? I see it has a kitchen and a bathroom, and it's basically could be a secondary dwelling.
Yeah, I mean, the intent was really, it truly is a pool house. I mean, it's designed, the reason we added sort of a loft up top was just for the kids to go somewhere to, I guess, to get out of our hair a little bit, but that was the intent. And then of course we have a shower in that, but I mean, it was intended for when the kids get out, you know, they could take a shower or you could rinse off or whatever. But no, it's not intended to be another living quarters or anything such as that. It's more just intended for the, you know, for us and parties and house parties, you know, with kids and stuff, birthday parties.
Okay, and then the minor variance that you're asking for is quite a bit more than what's allowed. I mean, you have a large lot there. Perhaps you can just explain the hardship for the size of the structure that you're going to put there, why you couldn't conform.
Basically, it's because, I mean, frankly, if I would have attached my detached garage to my house, then I wouldn't have any issues because I certainly don't exceed the lot coverage. It's more or less because I obviously want an additional structure beyond my detached garage, which of course at this point, you know, based upon our situation with the pool, and kind of overlooking the pool, we sort of wanted something where you had a living area, you know, where people could come in and out, you know, and then we still have like a kind of a kitchenette type situation where people could kind of come in and out. I mean, we're kind of envisioning, you know, birthday parties and things like that, right? So we can enjoy, both of our children were born in the summer months, so we plan on, you know, kind of enjoying it with them. And so that was sort of the intent. And unfortunately with the detached garage, it doesn't work. You know what I mean? It doesn't work for that. It just wouldn't be able to, like, it's really more meant to be a garage and storage space. So that's continued, like, that's how we're going to continue it. And then we have this building that's going to be more suited for, you know, actually entertainment or entertaining space.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Anybody else? Tony?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I guess my question will be for administration. How does this fit into the secondary unit plans that the town would have?
Through you, Mr. Chair, that's a good question because it does look like it could be someday adapted to become an ARU, and the town is actually encouraging that. The new official plan has permissive policies with respect to ARUs, and this would meet the draft guidelines that we have in place to date. But those are draft form, they are subject to change, but it would meet those draft guidelines. But he would have to go, Mr. Smith would have to go through a rezoning to legalize such a use. And it would go through this public process again, and people within 400 feet of the subject property would be given notice and an opportunity to come out and express any concerns that they might have.
Anybody else? Is that good, Tony? And Lori?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to confirm, although I did hear you speak of it earlier to you, Mr. Chair, that a recirculation is not required. Is that correct? Even though the application has somewhat been revised?
Well, my opinion, as I said at the beginning of the meeting, my opinion was that the people that are affected have been notified and have been involved in the rearrangement. And if anything, there's less impact on the rest of the neighbors. That's why I asked for a circulation list, just to see how far it goes, how many people are we talking about, and those people that are farther afield have even less would have even less impact from the changes. So it's my opinion that we don't need to recirculate. And I think administration supports that.
Could we confirm that from administration that a circulation is not required?
And Mr. Chair, in these cases, it is up to the committee, and the committee has to be comfortable that recirculation is not required. Mr. Smith approached 108 Edgewater, which is the property that would be most impacted. And in fact, it acts as a barrier to any other properties in the area in terms of the positioning of a detached garage and some trees and other things in that vicinity. So it looks like it would have minimal impact. I think that the relocation is a really good compromise in this case, given its original location. But you know, at the end of the day, the committee must be satisfied that it doesn't require recirculation.
Okay, furthermore, just to confirm then, 108 is the Brifka or Brifka family?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you, Donna. And then do we need to hear from, I see maybe potential resident, Ms. Kathy Heath? Do we
There's
need to
one
hear
more.
from?
When the committee was done, she was not on the screen when I looked earlier, and she's there now, and I'll ask her for an opinion.
If I can continue, however, I just have a couple of questions. I just had wondered about those residents. Okay, and then the question about, and I wholeheartedly agree with the applicant, had the detached garage been attached to the dwelling, I don't think we'd be in this situation unless it was an application for an accessory dwelling. In this case, the lot is quite large, and do see that there are it is less of an impact to essentially the lot coverage. So I did want to make note of that we were on the same lines with that comment, and I do see that as well in the report. So that was it for me as far as comments, Mr. Chair. I would like to hear from Ms. Heath.
I'm good with the revisions.
I'm sorry?
I'm good with the revisions.
Oh, okay, good. So there's another, affirmative vote.
Just for the record, where does Kathy reside, Mrs. Heath?
I'm at 117 St. Mark. So his backyard backs up onto me. Yeah, right there.
Okay.
So if the structure was behind 109, it was possibly going to be a bit of an impediment.
It'd be right next to yours.
Yeah. I wasn't sure exactly where it was going to go, but yeah.
Okay, good, thank you. Chad, on that plot plan, put it back up for a sec. It looks like there's an alley arrangement back there too. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
And I noted that in the report, Mr. Chair, in terms of its impact, that it's even lessened further by the presence of that 15-foot wide alley.
Right. Okay. Just in case the committee members didn't see that. Any other, Lori?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a final question I forgot to ask about. Was there a reason to you, Mr. Smith, the applicant, a reason why you were not able to meet the 15-foot maximum height requirement in the zoning bylaw?
It just came down to the elevation of the building. We wanted to increase the height to take in consideration not just the main floor structure, but to overlook the loft space. And I guess to understand the design aspect of it is to elevate it was a way to, in order to incorporate the stairs up to the loft area with having minimal impact of the height. Like, I don't know how to explain it other than that. it just worked in terms of the design. And at that point, when we were already asking for, we were already going to be asking for, the differential on the square footage and the building. We just figured at that point, we might as well ask for that as well. I mean, obviously now based upon our location, our current location, I certainly don't see much of an issue now. But it was really just about the main floor and how it was going to be like visually situated with the loft space.
Do you have any idea how, or maybe Mr. Jeffrey, how high the existing detached garage is, the height of that?
Sorry, are you asking me or Jeffrey?
Either Mr. Jeffrey or.
Yeah, okay. It would essentially, we're at 50. We met the requirement when we had built the exterior structure. So it's essentially, but it's a barn peak. I don't know how to explain it, but it's a barn peak. So it's a little bit different of a peak.
I see that.
Yeah, so if it's off, it might be off by even 8 or 10 inches. But according to what I know, the way that the peak was done on the detached garage versus this structure, 2 different peaks. But essentially, it's going to end up like it might be 8 inches or 10 inches off or something based upon the peaks, the gable.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Any other questions from the committee? Tony?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I guess my question would be for Chad. I think, would it be wise to put a condition on this that it's not to be used as a secondary unit unless a rezoning is done and approved by the town?
Mr. Chair, it's sort of implied that that's the case, that he couldn't use it as a secondary unit unless he rezones it legally. But I guess it doesn't hurt to stress that so that it's on the public record. It can be made a condition. It's not absolutely necessary, but it just I think it just maybe strengthens the message that the proponent has to go through a rezoning in order to legalize it as an ARU if that's ever his intention.
Yeah, there'll be a little tricky wording there because we don't have a rezoning to what yet until council adopts that. But that makes sense. So I see two conditions. One is that, and the other is the engineering did the engineered drainage and grading plan as well for this property. So that would be the other condition I would suggest. So somebody want to make a motion? Thomas?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the minor variances for application A0822. I applaud the owner and the neighbors for getting together and working out their differences and agreeing on a solution. So I think that shows great spirit of cooperation.
And say for the record with the amended location?
With the amended location.
The amended location.
And the conditions attached.
Okay. Support? Daniel? Any other question? All in favor? Opposed? Carried? Another unanimous. Thank you. Tony, Tom, and Tony. Thank you very much. So that's it. Andrew, you're good.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone.
And again, thanks for going through the process with your neighbors. I'm sure they appreciate it.
It's not a problem. There's nothing worse than having bad neighbors.
Yeah, you can choose your neighbors, but you can't choose your relatives, right?
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Have a good day.
And thank you to the neighbors for working through the process with them too.
I truly appreciate. I think that was important. That great people, great neighbors. I don't have any issue with anyone. I was willing to work with anything they had come up with. I mean, I was willing to do what they wanted me to do. And Ed was actually the one that pointed out, hey, why don't you put it here? So thank you, Ed, for that. Appreciate that. And we were quick to get it to the design work. And yeah, it's true. If you look at the picture of what's there at 108, there's no question it's the better location for it. So I'm glad it all worked out for everyone.
Yep.
Yes, and thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so next, is there no deferrals? Is there any unfinished business, Donna?
Nothing.
Nothing? Okay.
No, no, sir.
Any new business? None of that either? Good.
No new business either.
Okay, who wants to move adjournment? Paul? Want to move adjournment? Okay. And Chris? Paul and Chris? All in favor? Thank you very much. Sorry about dropping out of the trouble with the Zoom meeting stuff. Anyway, we're good. I'm waiting for the recording live to go off. And it's off.